Alright, welcome back guys. They are ready to go. So this is best of 5 and the same rules apply for the rest of the event as well. They can pick and choose any decks between games regardless if they win or lose. Nightingale, like you said, has kind of become famous for a second placer in his time. So maybe this is his moment to get a first place under his belt. If you were to just kind of say straight away who you would say is favored in this matchup, I know it's very hard because they're both very high skilled players. Who would you go for?
That's a really tough one. I think from my past experience, I prefer Nightingale's style of play to lose. I think that he has just a little bit better deck selection. Usually I think he's a little bit better at reading the metagame and kind of trying to predict what deck he's going to need to bring to face his opponent. So I think I'd give Nightingale just a little bit of edge because of that.
Alright, so edge for Nightingale here from Crow. I'll side with Lou then, you know, well, I'll go opposite sides. But game number 1 is about to kick off, guys. I apologize. Let me
What is this? We have 3 Vine Walls in the opening hands of these players combined. This is crazy.
This is smelling like a Day of the Dragons deck to me.
Well, I'm glad you know what's going on because I have absolutely no idea. I have not seen Vine Walls like this, and like honestly, I'd put Lou on probably Apex just from what I see so far. But we'll see if no, it is 3 wishes.
I think this is a Day of the Dragons mirror. This is kind of my guess from what I've seen people run in the Day of the Dragons list. Colossus is very popular, Vine Wall's very popular, and of course the Wishes and the Windfalls. So we'll have to see. We'll have to let these guys get deeper into their deck as this is looking like a control mirror at the moment.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me that Day of Dragons is actually seeing that much play. A lot of times people say, oh, there it is. Now, the real problem with Day of Dragons is that you have to pay, let's see, what is it? 18 Faeria before you get your first effect. And usually that's a Gardon. So if you're paying 18 for a Gardon, why not just play Gardon and pay for 10 instead? But Nightingale, drawing Aurora's Dream, so it looks like it might be Wishes versus Dream here, unless the Dream deck usually runs Wishes as well.
The Dragons deck runs Dream as well, so they run Day of the Dragons and Dream. The usual strategy with this deck is you play Garadan as a one-off as well with Day of the Dragons, and what you want to do is accumulate enough Faeria. So when you make your Day of the Dragons play, you basically just go like Garadan, Creation, Garadan, and just try and wipe the board from there. And then you follow in turn, you follow up like Tephra and Azurai if they play anything, and then you can just push from there. That's the kind of the general strategy I've seen with this deck so far.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of smell a little bit of collusion here. I think they kind of talk to each other and pick these decks intentionally just to give us a good show here. But honestly, I don't really mind. Just being able to see these decks go at it is going to be a lot of fun.
To be fair, if one of them had just picked Yellow Rush, it would be a blowout, because this deck struggles so much defending against aggro, I found.
Yep, we see Nightingale drawing into the Primeval Colossus here, so I wonder how long it'll be before Tarim comes down and makes his appearance.
Well, we've had a Tarim in hand in this tournament today. We just haven't had it come down.
Yep, and I imagine that it probably is in this deck somewhere.
Just going all out for the control cards. Who knows? Maybe we'll even see Krog.
you might be reaching a little bit too far there. If you'd said Magnus, I would have agreed with you entirely, because anytime you draw a Dream off of Magnus, it's just the best feeling in the world.
Oh, man,
I've done it
sick. That's disgusting. But what do you where do you feel the players are as far as advantage goes? It looks like Lou has a land advantage. He's been able to kind of push up a little further, but Nightingale has been a bit more aggressive, going on the second line of land tiles there.
Yeah, I think, like, personally, I prefer to play from Nightingale's position here, but Lou is about to get all of his 3 wishes running. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he draws off that, and I think that'll be kind of telling to figure out where this game is headed, what cards come off those 3 wishes.
3 wishes into Day of the Dragons, so 2 Day of the Dragons.
That might be a little bit crazy if that happens.
I want them to rename the cards to Dragons for Days.
Well, I'll make sure to pass your suggestion on to Atmaz, and we'll see if the developers take it.
If you're watching Atmaz, listen to me. Dragons for Days is just such a better name.
Tell you what, if I ever make a deck using Day of the Dragons, I will call it that, just for you.
Awesome, man. So these Colossuses are going to be kind of punching each other very soon, I think. These are some of the kind of bigger threats they rely on to kind of fight for board, but not only that, they tend to be great for the forest targets once you start pushing out a lot of land. I mean, you gain like a lot of Faeria off them, and you get the cycle as well, getting closer to that Day of the Dragon wombo combo that will be coming up.
Yep, and here we see the desert, and we're going to get our first look at 3 wishes, I think.
All right.
Yep, so here's the 3 wishes. What do we got? Creation, Windfall, Windfall. Oh my, if only he was the one with Dream in hand right now, he would actually have enough Faeria to cast it.
That would be brutal. But he's going to be able to accumulate a ton of Faeria. I mean, can he let the Day of the Dragons rip now?
I don't think there's any reason to play it this turn. Usually you want to play a dragon down immediately. At the same time, I guess you could just run out Gargadon here. I think I'd be okay with that.
I mean, we just Gargadon Creation it, and then you have a second Gargadon. I guess it does indicate Nightingale that the second one is going to follow up. But look at Nightingale's land placement in comparison. He's gone for a far more aggressive line here, just going around the left side and curving straight into the middle, getting that forest right next to his face. And now Colossus can come down and really push some damage here if he can stay alive.
So let's see. Colossus is a +4 Faeria with Feed the Forest. So he's almost up to Dream. If he passes the turn here and then feeds the forest next turn, I think he'll have enough. If I'm counting correctly. Ooh,
he has
it
now. Oh no, he
no,
needs the additional
one shy.
leg.
Okay. Yep, one additional, or no, not the additional leg. He needs one more Faeria. So it's going to be coming down next turn, though, pretty much for sure. Oh no, he's actually going to go ahead and play out the Colossus. Just keep some kind of pressure on the board. I don't mind that too much. He still has the Faeria collection going. This is still fine. And then he has the Aurora's Creation for the Colossus if he wants to go that plan instead. So he kind of allows himself a little bit more flexibility by playing out this Colossus than saving up for the Dream.
Alright, so Colossus coming down for Lou as well. Gonna feed that cycle, see what he finds. He really wants to find that Aurora's Dream. Finds the wishes. So he can go for a wish here instead if he wants to see if he can pick up maybe Nightingale's Aurora's Dream as well.
Yep, I think he doesn't know anything off the top of the deck at this point, if I recall correctly. So these will be 3 completely new. Oh no, he knew about the 1. So Earthcraft's going to come down. He's just going to be cycling through his deck as quickly as possible, probably looking for his Dream at this point.
Mochi's going to be able to make a cost reduction if he draws it. Going to go for Day. See what plans he has with these dragons.
I think you got to lead off with Azurai, right? Well, then, or Azurai Rose, it seems fine to me. But if you Azurai here, you just get a ton of power on it.
That's a big Grove Guardian right there. Copies Tephra again. Wow.
Getting even bigger. Wow. So huge plays coming out from Lou here. That's a pretty good way to contest a Primeval Colossus if I've ever seen one.
Could have potentially went for that Mochi as well earlier and got the transformation with Aurorose, but didn't go for it in the end. Now even Nightingale can steal some of these dragons himself with the creations.
Yeah, he's in a weird position because he would like to just play the Dream here, but he's going to go ahead and do it, but he has so many cheap cards in his hand. And wow, these draws are absolutely awful. No high-cost cards whatsoever from Nightingale. This is pretty much the opposite of the Dream.
Yep, he pretty much got all his cycle and all his cost reductions with the Mochis there. Oh man. So I guess he's just gonna try and wall things off now. Just try and slow things down, try and draw it into... I don't know, he's just lost all this Faeria though, that's the big problem.
Yeah, there's really not much he can do from this point. Even the Aurora's Creation, he's a couple turns off playing more dragons.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, he does draw his own Day of the Dragons, but there's really not that much he can do with it here. He could Aurora's Creation something and defeat the forest. I just don't know how he's going to come back into this game. He seems down so many resources.
And he knows that Lou has a Gargadon in hand because he's played Day of the Dragons himself, so he can pretty much just wipe the board here apart from the Vine Walls. An aggressive Mountain can come down, just getting out a shot of those Vine Walls so he can push that 6 damage, and Aurorose can move up now and position himself to start pushing some damage. And with that creation in hand, there's even potential buffs coming from another Tephra, so things are looking pretty bleak here for Nightingale.
Just no love for Azurai, though. Azurai would have been absolutely massive if it didn't come down instead of Gargadon, but I guess we can't really fault him for it. Azurai just getting no love whatsoever.
Poor Azurai. Everyone loved him when he was a last nightmare, but now no one seems to care.
I think it might be the new art. I was So I know I'm probably in the minority here, but the old art, it just had a little bit of a mystique to it that this current art doesn't have. So honestly, that's why I don't like Azrai as much anymore.
The placeholder art was pretty cool, I thought, because it had this kind of Disney feel to it. Especially Garadan's old placeholder art. I like the placeholder art a lot, but to be honest, I do love the new artwork they've given them. Although Azrai is kind of the one that looks a little bit out of place out of all of them. Just kind of his shape in comparison to the other dragons.
Maybe the developers just really like antlers. What can we say?
Well, Grove Guardian is definitely an indication of that. He has antlers for days.
Alright, so Gardenon coming in here, dealing 6 damage, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of dragons dealing a lot of damage pretty quickly here.
I've never seen so many dragons on board before.
We're only at 4. I think I've seen at least 4 before.
I got a video coming out soon. I'm with kind of a bit of trouble with the YouTube channel at the moment where I get the Garadan Wombo combo off, which is pretty fun. But that's about it. Like, just 2 Garadans, that's all I needed to win the game.
So Nightingale's actually just a little bit off a pretty big play. He's almost got double Aurora's Creation on Garadan into double Garadan. If he had drawn into a Windfall, he would have had enough for it. But as it is, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, he can copy Garadan again, but it's going to be at 5. He's going to have to feed his Garadan and then play Garadan again.
Well done, Nightingale. So he does find a way to go ahead and double Garadan and stay alive one more turn. And this Garadan is going to be able to trade into the Primeval Colossus as well with the current state of the board. At the same time, Azrai is probably going to come down and make that trade impossible on the following turn. So we'll see if he's able to stay alive on the next turn.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Azrai is going to ruin the game plan here. But the other creatures on board are still very vulnerable to Garadan as well. Nightingale is very close to making a comeback here. Because now Luu's used his Day of his Dragons. His win condition's kind of been used. Aurora's Creation is going to be the card he's going to be relying on to get back in the game if Nightingale can stabilize. But Nightingale, on the other hand, has Day of the Dragon in his hand ready. He also has his second Garadan. So it's looking okay. It just very much depends if he can deal with this Colossus or not.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that Azrai on the right side of the board has to be the play. It prevents the trade of Garadan into the Colossus, and it sets up a second lethal creature.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Oh, and the Vine Wall as well to protect the Colossus as well. I don't know if there's any way he's going to get back into us.
Well, that's one way. 3 Wishes is a pretty strong draw here. It just all depends on what's on top of Luu's deck. And there's the Aurora's Dream again.
Yeah, the Dream not going to have much impact here. Lorfi, what could it find? I don't think there's anything it could find.
Yep, not enough, so Luu will take game 1 of this mirror match.
That was a pretty fun mirror match overall. We got to see a lot of crazy dragons flying around. But just goes to show that if you get that Day of the Dragons first and you have all that Faeria, it's going to be pretty tough for your opponent to come back in that mirror match.
Absolutely. Now, do you think the Nightingale's going to stay the course here? Do you think it's just going to continue playing this deck and keep pushing that? Or do you think he's going to try to counter Luu and kind of change it up and make it a more competitive set?
Unless they just want to go for the run back, get the Day of the Dragons mirror going again. They could, like I said, they could have had a chat about it. So let's just to do something fun for these finals. But we'll have to see. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, it depends how badly they want to win. I wouldn't mind seeing a counter come down, just like a Yellow Rush maybe. Just to kind of beat that deck up, because that deck just can't defend against Rush. It really struggles.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think we'll see the run back here. I think they're going to try to decide who is the best Dream player at this point.
Who is the Dragon Master? We'll have to find out. So game number 2, guys. Nope, it is a Yellow Rush coming. Oh no, it's a Yellow Control. Sorry, coming from Nightingale. And it looks like maybe a Vicious, maybe a Burn Control coming from Luu.
Yeah, it looks like a red burn coming out of Luu right now. We'll see if there's any yellow cards that would turn it more into that Vicious build, but it seems like it's going to be a burn deck.
So how do you feel Burn does against Yellow Control?
I don't like it, personally. I think that the Yellow Control's mobility just gets around Red's defenses a little bit too easily. I don't think Red has really many good reactions at all to things like a Windborn Champion coming down.
I know the Soul Drains do help a little bit. It does slow down the Red's progression quite enough Malevolent Spirit pickup though there, so it is a red-yellow deck. I haven't seen that card in quite some time.
Yeah, so it seems like it's more of the red-yellow burn list. I guess you can call it vicious still, but a little bit more aggressive of a vicious build.
Okay, so I guess double Bloodsinger time. No, just going for going for the Grand Shake instead. Okay.
That's interesting. So he's actually kind of threatening a flame burst, but obviously we can see he doesn't have one. But it does kind of limit Nightingale's options a little bit. He can't really use this charger as aggressively as he would like otherwise.
It's a bit of a bluff there from Lou, which has paid out. So now gives Lou the opportunity to maybe put a Bloodsinger down, maybe even put two, start harvesting the two sides, and then following up turns he can start pushing the Grand Shaker forward. I guess you don't need to use the Bloodsinger just yet, because you're going to be able to harvest with the Grand Shaker, but he does have... double Bloodsinger can be pretty dangerous.
Absolutely, and he's actually backing up the Ground Shaker, and I like this a lot. Just making sure that you limit the Windsword and Chargers as options as much as you can. Otherwise, the Soul Drain would have been able to come down and trade off into the Ground Shaker.
Kingsguard makes his return, so this is the list that... Wait, that was used against Heavy, I believe?
That sounds right.
Wait, no, hang on. So Lou played against Heavy and had Kingsguard, but now Nightingale has Kingsguard in his deck. So these guys have got some secret stuff going on with their deck building at the moment.
And a lot of these high-level players tend to talk a lot, kind of decide what is good in the format right now. And it wouldn't surprise me if that was the reason that they came up with the same list there, the same ideas, the same tech choices.
So now Nightingale can actually get a good threat down in the Windborne Champion if he wants it. Kingsguard is not too bad as well. It's quite bulky, and it's going to demand a little bit extra from Lou if he wants to remove it. But a 3/2 is pretty vulnerable to Cypher's Wrath, and with those Bloodsingers down, it is going to chip away at his life. Do you think you Flame Burst the 3/2 at this point, just to lock out that Faeria, Catherine?
I think it's absolutely worth it. You only lose 1 damage compared to having Flame Burst go to the face. And then you get rid of the creature that's producing Faeria the following turn as well. So we are going to see the Flame Burst here, and following up turns, he's going to have Scourge Flames coming down pretty soon.
Yeah, that's quite scary for Nightingale. He's already pushing damage with these Bloodsingers. A Scourge Flame can usually get those 2 hits in to do that 6 damage, and if he does clear something out, he's going to be able to deal additional damage with a Bloodsinger. Second Scourge Flame pickup as well, so that's great for Lou.
Yep, just a little bit of Faeria off, so I think we'll probably see him hold off this turn. He probably won't play anything this turn unless he wants to get a Scourge Flame down to kind of go aggressive and start flying at Nightingale's face.
What, do you like that though? Would you rather him hold off?
Personally, I like to see Vicious decks play a little bit more defensive, not really to fly things at your opponent's face, but rather save it up and probably plan on having double Scourge Flame come down to trade into the Kingsguard.
Well, Scourge Flame is a great reactive card as well because of the haste, and that's kind of what you want to do in a defensive situation with these burn decks, is you just want to be able to get that guaranteed clear on a creature, but also push that damage. But he does go for it now, and it does protect his Bloodsinger, but this Soul Drain is going to be able to deal with it, and now the Kingsguard is going to be able to draw a card and deal with one of Lou's Faeria Gatherers and one of his damage sources.
Yeah, I think Lou made a little bit of a miscalculation there, not moving his Bloodsinger back a little bit to prevent this trade if something did go wrong. Just a little bit of a mistake from Lou. I don't think there's anything else about it.
And now the board belongs to Nightingale with just that 4/2. Scourge Flame will come down probably to clear it up. It does harvest as well from the Faeria pool. Goes for the draw here. Scourge Flame, it's just a play here, right?
Absolutely. There's really nothing better you can ask for, and I think these players might be in each other's heads a little bit, because we see a Choking Sands in Lou's hand now, and Choking Sands is a card that we haven't seen too much of either. It's kind of fallen out of favor, but if your opponent's running Kingsguard and you know it, then Choking Sands is a fantastic card to put in your deck.
Double Rebel Slinger now, so can still keep pushing that damage. 10 health left for Nightingale, so 2 Slingers is going to do 4, taking him to 6. 1 more hit from the Scourge Flame to deal additional damage. Got the Malevolent Spirit as well for instant damage. So things are looking pretty good for Lou. I mean, he's slowed down Nightingale enough that he just doesn't have anything on board at the moment.
Yeah, just able to take control of the Faeria Wells and kind of answer anything that Nightingale tries to do as far as Faeria farming goes. Now we do see this the Soul Drain in Nightingale's hand, so that's a pretty good card at least. Can help him fight back a little bit, gain back some life. And this Shaden Vampire is actually going to come down really aggressively. This is going to put on a lot of pressure. It's starting a 3-turn clock right now if Lou can't deal with it.
I like this. It's now putting aggression forward to Lou. Right now, Nightingale's kind of not had this opportunity, but the Shaitan setup was great. Lou does have some defensive tools here. He has the Grimguard, which can lock him out for a turn, deal that additional 2 damage. So it's not too bad for Lou in this situation. He's going to push another Rebel Slinger as well. I like the placement there, because if he goes to the Grimguard as well, he'll be able to stop another Shaitan coming down to take out that Rebel Slinger. Oh, he goes for the... Oh, okay. What do you think of that instead of the Grimguard?
So this plays right into Shaden Vampire, but obviously Nightingale doesn't have enough Faeria for that. But he's actually going to get blown up by Soul Drain here even, and I think not playing around Soul Drain is probably a mistake here. I don't like the Rebel Slinger at all because of that. I don't know. I think the Grimguard would have been better just to kind of lock this down and prevent your opponent from getting in that damage.
I mean, if Grimguard does 2 damage at this point, you should be pretty happy, because it's just getting you closer and closer to that lethal. You're going to be drawing these instant damage effects from the gifts. I mean, you're going to have more Malevolent Spirits as well. He just goes for the clear on the... Okay, so he's just clearing up the Faeria Gatherers here, rather than going for the Cypher there. Cypher's fodder. Oh, and defensive play there, I like it.
Yeah, so it kind of keeps the Vampire alive, at least for one more turn, but I don't know that that really does too much. I guess it gains him 1 Faeria, effectively, but at the same time, this Fanatic would have been able to collect it anyway. So, I don't know. It's a cheeky play, but I don't really think it has that big of an effect in the long term.
Well, I'm all about the cheeky plays, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. The Grimguard on the left-hand side, kind of out of harm's way, but not able to push that 2 damage from its effect. I guess the Faeria is just more important to Lou at this point. He has a lot of time. I mean, he's at 20 health. He's just going to start gathering, and he's pushing these creatures back just out the way of this fodder so it doesn't deal the 2 damage from the last words.
Yeah, just continually making sure that his creatures are out of range of the Grimguards, of the Cypher's fodder, of anything that he could take damage from right now. And here we see the 3rd Bloodsinger from Lou, so this has potential to, kind of open it up and finish off the game if he's able to ever get in range of Nightingale's creatures.
So, gonna harvest here from the well with the Grimguard. Malevolent Spirit seems fine, I guess. You just put a body down, deal some additional damage. Grimguard to lock out the 5/5, that's great too. It's gonna do its job and deal that additional damage.
Yeah, so that locks it into place for this turn, and then the following Grimguard can come in and lock it into place the following turn, buying a lot of time here and getting some damage in too. At that point, he'll be able to play Bloodsinger, or he probably won't even worry about that. He'll probably just go with double Malevolent Spirit. So on board, that's lethal if Lou is able to survive 2 more turns without Nightingale getting any life.
I mean, what he could do here is develop a land next to his orb. Oh, he could just go for the Fanatic to move him.
Yep, so that'll get him out of harm's way, kind of prevent all that damage from the Grimguards from coming in. But at some point, he's going to have to break through these, and Nightingale can't be running that much life gain in his deck.
I think probably just Soul Drains, to be honest, and we've already seen 3, I believe?
Either 2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, so he's kind of out of life gain here, and the more time he gives Lou, the more time he gets to draw stuff like Malevolent Spirit, maybe some removal. Cypher's Wrath is a great pickup. This is his first one, I believe, so we've got plenty of Cypher's Wrath coming. Flame Bursts, more Scourge Flame Spectres. The problem Nightingale is he's on the clock, and the more defensively he plays, like the more worse off he is. But he's in a situation now where he can't play aggressively because the creatures on board just threaten lethal so quickly.
Yep, and Choking Sand's coming down too, so this puts him directly within range of the Malevolent Spirits without any of the damage on board coming out. So Nightingale's going to have to put on some pressure really quickly if he's going to want to take this.
Goes for the draw there, doesn't find anything too useful. I think we might just see a surrender come down. I'm not too sure what else he can do at this point.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to keep fighting a little bit, just because if he stays out of range of everything on board, then he's more or less okay. And the Windborn Champions could somehow steal the game. At the same time, with Lou being at 20, it's really hard for that to happen.
Well, Lou's at 20, and then there's a Grimguard sat at his orb. There's also the fodder as well, which will push 2 damage from the last word. So I think it was a pretty dire situation there, and I'm not too surprised the concede came down.
Yep, so Lu taking the second game here, and that brings it up to 2-0, right?
Yep, it's a very different match than it was last weekend, guys. Luuu90 went 3-2 in the end, so now there's potential here for just a sweep for Lu taking a 3-0 win if he takes this next game.
Alright, so we'll see if they are in each other's heads, if they kind of switch around their decks again, or if they keep with that same matchup. And Lu is going to be switching to yellow control and yellow aggro, sorry, and Nightingale switching to mono blue. So it looks like Lu definitely has the edge in this matchup.
We've seen a blue come from heavy today. It didn't quite work out for him in the end. He managed to take a win with it though, but he had a pretty powerful hand. I'm not too sure where blue is right now. But if Lu takes this match, he's going to get revenge on Nightingale for his victory in our first PlayFaeria Open. And where do you see these matchups going so far?
Well, it looks like Lu has just an absolutely awful hand. He has nothing going on. No real aggressive pressure can come out at all. And Nightingale's going to be able to block off the land development with his double water elemental. So, oddly enough, Nightingale has a massive advantage early on in this matchup.
And Lu has a very similar hand to what Heavy had. Like, Flash Wind's not doing much. Zealous Crusader. He does have some aggressive reach with that Wind Soldier. If he develops a Desert... that's a pretty good spot to develop desert. Maybe you can push out a follower to push out an additional desert next turn. But this land development from Nightingale, like you said, it's just slowed down this rush deck so much.
And there's no good way to break through. The column follower next turn will be able to develop an aggressive land. But Lu doesn't even have any follow-up because of these Flash Winds. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that these Flash Winds are seeing as much play as they do, because I feel like they have not been consistent enough in these yellow aggro decks to warrant the deck slot.
Well, King Dan's told me he loves Flash Wind. Like, he just loves kind of flexibility of it when he played against me a few times during the week. But they are quite clunky. I mean, if they don't come at the right time, they can just sit in your hand and not really have much influence.
Yeah, and so far that's what we've seen from this game, and the Zealous Crusader's a 2-2, so honestly Lu's best play is a Sagittarius at this point, but it just gets eaten by the Water Elemental, so he doesn't really have anything going on.
So this blue deck looks like it's built to counter this version of Yellow Rush. The Aurora's trick is going to be able to target a lot of the yellow creatures, especially the Sagittarius. I just don't know how he comes back in this game, in all honesty.
And Prophet of Tides is going to be able to move away that desert. I would love to see that desert get moved away and followed by double prairie.
Yeah, I'd like that too. One of the really powerful effects of Prophet of the Tides is being able to push aggression away. He can even move the water elemental on it as well and get closer to the face to push some damage. But doesn't go for it in the end.
Well, not yet anyway. He could still play the Prophet of Tides here.
I guess he'll have to push it up to the right-hand corner with the Faeria while there.
Yep. I'm guessing that he might think that, frankly, that desert isn't that much of a threat, because honestly, what do you do with that desert? You can't even put on a Wind Soldier to get an aggressive land in at this point, because the frog's blocking off the left side.
Yeah, I agree. And if Lu does decide to go for kind of an aggressive push on with the land oh, this is actually really nice. So this is where Flash Wind is useful, because now we can put a desert right next to his orb.
Yeah, double Flash Wind, but still, that doesn't really do that much. It's double Flash Wind, get in 2 damage. He doesn't even have the Kalim's Prayer yet. We'll see if he'll be able to draw it off the monk here.
I guess the one nice thing is he gets to push damage now with these haste creatures, but he also sets up a big Zealous Crusader as well. I'm going to go for Faeria as well. He's just emptying his hand here. I think Lu's just kind of going all in and hoping he can squeeze a win in the next 2 turns.
Yeah, can't really blame him for it. But Aurora's Trick is going to be a pretty good play here by the look of it. So if we go Aurora's Trick and Triton Banquet, he should be able to hold off this Zealous Crusader. So I'm thinking Aurora's Trick on the Monk, attack into the Fanatic. The 2 frogs attacking the Fanatics as well. And then Triton Banquet comes down on the frog just to make sure that the Crusader's way is blocked on the following turn.
Yeah, gonna block out that 8 damage. He also has the Faeria to do this as well. Just needs 1 additional lake to set up that trick. I'm not sure if there's anything else he can do that's better than that. Ties doesn't really have much influence. Wait, what?
Whoa. That seems like a massive mistake here. I'm pretty sure Nightingale just completely blinked there. He probably meant to make a lake and just misclicked basically.
Yeah, there's no reason you'd make a desert unless he has some surprise yellow cards coming up. It's not relevant now. It's yeah, very strange.
That seems that's just so important here. He's going to take so much more damage this turn because of that. So
What is going on?
okay, so the Prophetess will be able to move away this 8/8 and keep him from taking the damage. Kind of a different way to stall out the Zealous Crusader, and then Beirut will be down and active by the time the 8/8 comes in.
Maybe this is a bit of BM from Nightingale. He made the desert on purpose because he thinks that Beirut is gonna definitely transform it into a lake. I'm not sure. It's just a bit strange.
Hold on, I think that a kill on the... Oh no, okay. The Prophetess couldn't attack that turn. Otherwise, I thought that a kill was missed on a Kalian's follower. But we're alright. I forgot that it was just summon that turn.
So if Luuu doesn't develop land, his Zealous Crusader is going to be kind of locked out. He picks up another one though, but doesn't... Well, he does have the Desert Tower right next to the orb, but the problem is that Beirut is already sat there, ready to take that guy out.
Well, at the same time, the Zealous Crusader will be bigger than Beirut on this turn.
It will, but there is a toad sitting there. There is a water elemental that could... No, it actually will be out of reach, but the toad will be able to take it out. Oh no, it's a 12/12. Sorry, I'm completely losing my place here.
That's alright. So it looks like... Man, the Zealous Crusader coming down to block up that Faeria well actually ruins the play that he could make this turn. He almost could have gone Beirut to the left side, then Triton Banquet on Beirut. That's 9 damage, and then the other 2 creatures would be enough to take it out, but he's actually 1 Faeria short. I guess he can still make the play if he gains 1 Faeria from the wheel, and I think that is going to be the best line he has.
I think that's the only line he has at this point, because he's not going to be able to take this 12/12 out without it.
Yeah, so Nightingale, just that 1 desert coming down, it put him in a really tough spot. He's doesn't really have too much going on at this point. He's got all these high cost cards in his hand, and they're just kind of sitting around, not really doing that much.
I do like Luuu kind of going all in the last 2 turns, because, to be honest, he was getting blocked out of this game with such a strong opening from Nightingale, so it was great to see him have that presence of mind, knowing that he has to kind of just go all in to stay in this match. But this is going to be answered. I'm probably just going to see a surrender. I can imagine he's lost his aggressive desert now, and Beirut is still going to be able to sit around.
Yeah, but at the same time, Nightingale still has to deal with all these creatures, so I think we'll see 1 more turn at least. Oh, and the last Nightmare is actually going to open up a kill on the Beirut.
Yeah.
So it looks like Luu's actually still winning this game right now.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the 0-1s. I was just so focused on the Beirut, but yeah, things are looking great for the Luuu here, but Nightingale doesn't have an answer.
Yeah, no answer whatsoever, and he's going to go ahead and concede, and Luuu just absolutely takes out the match.
Wow, 3-0 stomp there from Luuu, and considering last week it went right down to the wire, 3-2, and Nightingale took the victory, but Luuu gets his revenge, and he is able to win the tournament. Fantastic play from him there.
Yeah, it seems like he was just 1 step ahead in the mind game the entire time, and this is kind of why we say that Yellow Rush has such a good matchup against Blue decks. Blue just can't have a way to sustain that defense, and at some point Yellow's going to find a way in. Like, we saw Luuu take that huge turn, and he just kind of went all in, and it worked, yet Blue just couldn't deal with all the pressure that Luuu was putting on. So well played by him, and great understanding of the matchup.
Yeah, Blue not having access to that instant damage from like Red has, or even Yellow, so they have to fight honestly. They have to fight on board, much like Green. And once you kind of make a massive play like that, it was very difficult for him to deal with the Crusader and all the followers that were kind of swarming around. And when the second Crusader come down, it was just kind of the nail in the coffin there, especially with the 8/8 being able to move back up and set up for that lethal kill in the following turn. But fantastic play from the players in this tournament today. I really enjoy casting. Any final thoughts, dude?
Not really. Like you said, it'll be interesting to see what the developers do with Yellow moving forwards here. It just has so many tools to work with right now, and it's a very strong color. So it's either going to be giving other colors more tools or taking away some of Yellow's toys. And we'll see how the game progresses and how the metagame develops as they tweak these cards.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, dude. It's been a pleasure casting with you once again.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
If you guys would like to get involved, be sure to go to playfaeria.com or open.playfaeria.com, where you can sign up for future events. Any kind of shout outs or any kind of like links to your Twitter and stuff like that you'd like to give to the audience?
Not too much. If you're interested in seeing more Faeria tournaments, I often do a lot of casting on my channel as well. That's twitch.tv/crow_77. I'll drop a link in chat here too, so you can take a look and hit me up with a follow or whatever you like.
Awesome, dude. Okay, that's the end of the tournament. I will return next Sunday as well with the following PlayFaeria Open. I'll be back on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central Europe's summertime. I'm British summertime. I always go for Europe because most people are European when they watch the stream. And yeah, I'll be back 2 p.m. where I'll be playing my free-to-play account. I've hit God rank now, so I might climb the ladder of God, see if I can get up with the big boys at the top end. We'll just see what happens, so be sure to tune in then. So thanks again, Crow, for joining me. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. We've had 60 viewers tonight. That's fantastic. It's made me very happy. So have a great evening. Keep playing Faeria, and take care.
Have a good night, guys.